Mr. Mayor, distinguished council, my name is Judge Tom Kirkbride. I'm a resident of Fayette County, Georgia. I'm here representing Mr. Ed Turner, the property owner next to the building that's in question.
Okay.
We have some significant issues that we wish to address the council on. We are certainly not opposed to growth in Stockbridge in any form or fashion. But as Madam Council Member made a comment earlier about due diligence and making sure that you get the right type of businesses in. It's not the type of business. This business closed, the building was closed less than a month ago, the last part of October. At that point, on November the 2nd, somebody came onto Mr. Turner's property and cut down his trees. These trees were 20-year growth trees that were on the front of Rock Quarry Road. And those trees were cut down, and mysteriously on a Saturday when Mr. Turner's not there, those trees were just gone. And when confronted the owner, Mr. Patel, he stated he did not do it. And I certainly don't want to contend that he did or did not, but at that point I find it interesting that on the same weekend, trees were cut down in front of the building that he has since purchased, and also had it a significantly limbing up of those trees on the same date. So it's interesting to me that there could be this random person out cutting trees down on property that belongs to somebody else to make it so it would be more clear to see that building by approaching traffic. And again, there is a criminal complaint that has been filed with the Stockbridge Police Department considering criminal damage to property. These are 20-year-old growth trees. They are 18 to 24 inches in diameter. They created a lot of shade right there and everything, and they were just miraculously taken down. We're not sure. We're going to let the police department handle that. The second thing is that on the back side of the property, in the current easement area, someone from the business, I'm not sure if it's Mr. Patel or his son or whoever, has gone ahead and started already renovating the property without a permit. They have taken up a portion of the median area back there, and they've put up concrete pouring fabrications. The big issue that I have with that is number one, it wasn't permitted, and there has since been a stop work order, and there's been 3 citations by code enforcement from the city of Stockbridge stating that they want to see improvements and that they want to see something else on this. It was not approved. The one problem that I have is it's on the backside. If they add that piece of concrete there, that is going to effectively change the flood plan that's on that property. There is a drain that's in the parking lot, but if you close that off, where is the rest of that water going to drain off to that normally would have drained into that area? We've done everything we can, and what it is he's a new business owner, and these are not people who are brand new to this. These are sophisticated business owners and developers who have come in and essentially said, I'm just going to go ahead and do the work I need to do without going through the proper permitting and things of that nature. So we're concerned with that. In addition, which really concerns me is the letter that Mr. Patel says, and he says clearly he did not cut the trees down, and we certainly take him at his word on that, but it's just interesting that there's other trees that are taken down on the property adjacent. But more importantly, his comment is in the letter, I'd certainly make it available to you. If you still choose to attend the hearing with the intention of opposing my SUP application on this matter, I will unfortunately have no choice but to pursue legal action to protect my business interests. Now, that's not the kind of thing, they haven't even been neighbors for less than a month, and now you're already threatening legal action to keep Mr. Turner and his representative from speaking before you, the distinguished counsel, on this matter. There was nothing mentioned about the citations that have been issued. Counsel for Mr. Patel didn't mention that. I don't know if he's aware of that. And certainly the tree issue is currently under the purview and investigation of our Stockbridge Police Department for a felony criminal damage to property. You cannot enter the property of another and cut down trees. And it's amazing how they were all cleaned up and everything was good on a weekend when Mr. Turner wasn't there. Mr. Turner, who I've known since 1991, we started the Henry County Police Department together in 1991. That's how long we go back here. I remember when Mr. Turner appeared before a council in Stockbridge to request a permit to open up a pawn shop. And I remember that the chief of police at that point had to come before with him and say, Ed Turner is a man of great integrity, of great honor. We would think that he would make a good applicant for that. We would ask the same thing. We would ask that in the alternative that you get certain concessions from Mr. Patel that any work on the property is going to be properly permitted. It's going to be properly done. If this is the way he wants to start out his business relationship with the city of Stockbridge and its neighbors, I have serious concerns about that. And I'll reserve my time for rebuttal.
All right, Mr. Gardner, thank you for the presentation. Mr. Gardner, and maybe even our attorney here to come forward in reference to what's been stated about this. Obviously, we don't have any, police department's not here to, but I'm pretty sure you have all the data and information on this in reference to the police report, what code enforcement's done, things of this nature, lack of permitting, things. I just need you to validate everything, sir, at this time.
Yes.
And explain.
So, I think like members of council, I got an email and a phone call. We went out to the site, and yes, there were trees cut. There was work being done, and I brought code enforcement. Ryan and myself came out with code enforcement, and pretty much code enforcement wrote citations based on work that had already been done, or work that they had done on the site that should have been permitted or gone through the review process. So they have been issued citation, and they're going to court.
There's a fine associated with that, I'm assuming.
There is a fine, and they're going to court.
Okay. All right. Legally, sir, Quentin, where does the council stand? Where we stand on this?
The council can still move forward making its determination about what it wants to do with the special use permit. And if there are conditions or otherwise that you won't enforce, that will go through the department to make sure that they were enforced with whatever your determination would be. So in other words, you can still vote on it. If you want to take anything into consideration in your vote, then that would be something that would be expressed in the ordinance that you would have passed that community development would do.
I'm assuming since you probably neither one probably don't have any status what our police department's done thus far. Can you expound on that at all?
Yes, sir. Code enforcement just issued citations to this development late last week when this came to our attention. Okay. The very same day, code enforcement, myself went out there, well as the community development director. So citations have been issued. Okay. They have a court date that they'll have to appear at. That's where it's at.
Okay. So there's a police report also on file somewhere?
Well, I think Mr. Ed did file a police report that will be on file with the police department.
And you have an idea when the court case is?
I don't know the exact court date, sir, no.
All right, so be it. Counsel, what kind of questions do you have?
Ford.
Yes, sir.
A couple of questions, Mr. Gardner,
Go ahead.
Mr. Washington. Is there a stop order citation? Has permits been obtained?
So there was a stop work order put on them. They can't do any more work on that property without going through a permit to do so. Mm-hmm. So all work on this site has ceased since code enforcement got involved last week.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alexander, your hand up? Is that, okay. Ms. Gann, you have something?
I have some concerns.
Okay.
So we have a lottery, and this gentleman came up and stated what a stand-up guy the new owner is. And then we hear information that's been confirmed that he broke the law. So you want me to approve, I just want to get it right, like you want to skate by and skirt by and do a permit on the side and get some work done without paying the city for the work you're doing, and then ask us to approve you. That's what you're doing in my face. I have a problem with that. Like, where's the ethics on that? Are we supposed to just say, oh, yeah, oh, they're threatening to sue us if we don't do this, but they broke the law? You didn't pay us to do what you were supposed to do, and if you're going to lay some concrete that might affect the topography or might affect other people, and no one came out and said, yes, this is okay, or no, it's not, well, let's save some dollars, I have a problem with that. No, it doesn't sound like they're on the up and up. They may very well be, but they were wrong. They were wrong. If permits haven't been issued, if we haven't approved anything, they're cheating the city of Stockbridge, and now you want me to approve it. That's the problem I have. I'm not against it. Right is right. The city of Stockbridge had 2 lottery places, and we went through and we looked at our maps and we pinpointed the areas that liquor stores, package stores can be. But I'm not going to have anybody force my hand when they tried to rip us off or cheat us. Give me another synonym. That's the problem I have, and it's not minute. It's wrong. So what kind of business, we've already approved, they won the lottery to do this, but yet they didn't pay or follow the right procedures. So they were going to do the work without a permit. That reduces their fees and cost. These are the stand-up people that you just presented to me. And I'm not saying they're not stand-up. But look at it from my point of view. When other people had to get permits, other business owners have to build, and they have to get permits. And you know what? People do it all the time. Unfortunately, he got caught. But it's still wrong. And so I can't condone that. I can't say that's okay. This is a special use permit. Everything else falls in line. It checks the boxes, except for you tried to screw the city first. That's where I am on it. If that's what they want to take to court, so be it.
Anyway, sir, you're standing there, so I guess you'd like to rebut that, I suppose. Go ahead.
Very much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. Earlier this evening, we heard about how people start rumors and make accusations about people annexing into the city of Stockbridge because the city of Stockbridge just rolls over and shows its tummy and is really easy on people trying to pull permits and do development compared to the county, and that turned out not to be true. By analogy, what I would say is that there are some things that don't match up with what I understand and what has been represented this evening. First, Mr. Patel advises me that he has not received a citation and he does not have a court date. It may be that there needs to be a deferral of this application so that we can vet these issues. In terms of the tree removal, Mr. Patel's son owns a vacant piece of property right next to his and right next to the gentleman who you heard in opposition. Mr. Patel himself did not remove any trees from that gentleman's property. His son hired a landscaping company to come out, a tree service, to come out and do some tree work on his property. They went to the wrong property and they took out trees. Mr. Patel's son, Nick, reached out to that property owner and offered to plant replacement trees. And I don't know how the rest of that conversation went, but I'm not sure that the picture that you've been given is completely accurate. So we would ask for a deferral of this application just to allow the facts to be confirmed before you make a decision.
A deferral you're asking for. You said deferral?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Mayor,
Yes. Oh, yes.
one last question.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Anderson or Mr. Gardner,
Ms. Garnison's side.
somebody, code enforcement, did they cite this particular site?
He's showing you now.
You're showing me the citation.
Yes.
And let's defer it, if that's what they want to do. But I'm not for, if there are citations issued and work has been done, you tried to rip me off. That's what you tried to do.
What? No. Sir, hold up, please, hold up a second. All right, this side, gentlemen, you kind of come here.
Hand has
Hold-
been raised,
Stand by,
and I've
folks, calm
been
down for a
waiting
second.
to be
Yes, sir.
I want to ask Mr. Turner, the representative?
Okay, if you
Real
want.
quick, and I know we got two hands down on this
Yeah,
end.
what I want, no, if he wants to speak.
Yeah, I want to
we
ask
can
a
find-
question.
That's fine.
to,
Come on, Mr. Turner, come on, sir. I want to make sure.
I think they should be disqualified.
Okay, no problem.
Right.
We got you.
So, what are you seeking out of all of this? What are you seeking?
At this point, we want to make the council aware of what's going on, and we are certainly concerned. You know, it's the fact that I can come on somebody's property and take trees down and then say, oh, okay, I'll replace them with some little saplings. That was what the offer was. And there's potentially civil action that we are looking at. We're waiting for the Criminal Investigation Division of the Stockbridge Police Department to conclude their criminal investigation, and then we'll decide where we go from there. We just want to have a fair shake. If there's going to, this is a highly regulated, inspected industry selling distilled spirits. Okay. And with that being said, if I can't trust you on the little things to do the right thing, how do I trust you on the big things when there's ATF involved, when there's state licensing, when there's city licensing? You know, if you're going to take those, you put the horse in front of the cart, and you're absolutely right, Madam Councilwoman, is I'm going to start getting this work done and do this and that. But at the end of the day, it needs to be smart work. It needs to be approved in advance. It needs to have people who are a whole lot smarter than me looking at it going, that's not going to impact the drainage. That is not going to impact the stormwater runoff. That was not done. And with that being said, what I want is, we're here in opposition, but we just want to have a fair shake and let you know what's going on and say, okay, make a decision based on all of the facts and circumstances with this, and then go from there. That's all we're asking for. If in your esteemed council decides to issue a liquor license, then so be it. But we want you to make sure you have all the facts in order to make a decision, and or any special conditions. Because what I'm afraid of is later on, Mr. Turner calls me and says, oh, well, they haven't gotten a permit on this, or they haven't done this, or so and so. And then we're back fighting this in Superior Court or something else. We want to nip this in the bud right now. If you're going to open up a business in the city of Stockbridge, like Mr. Turner has done, then you do the right thing. You get zoning and planning involved, you get code enforcement, you submit plans, those plans are approved in advance, and then you begin the work. It's not the other way around. And by the way, these are sophisticated property owners and investors. This isn't like I'm just going to buy a house and I put up the wrong fence. This is calculated.
Okay, I appreciate that, Representative from Mr. So I don't want to really prolong it, but I just wanted to sort of know your position and what you were seeking. So I'm going to yield back because I know we have two hands here, and we're going to try to. I know it's been suggested that we defer, and I think that's where we may go. But I'm going to yield. But I just want to know your position and what you were actually seeking out of all of this. And so,
If the council has, and they feel comfortable issuing the permit, and they have the right assurances, we're perfectly okay with that. We're not trying to stand in the way of progress. We want quality, measured progress that abides by all rules and regulations, especially in an industry such as the sale and distribution of distilled spirits, which by itself is a heavily regulated industry. You cannot cut corners now. You cannot cut corners there. Thank you for your time.
All right. Okay, thank you, sir. Ms. Barber, you have something, comments at all?
Yes, I do.
Go right ahead, please.
So I had a whole lot of questions and comments that I wanted to make, and it is not relevant to this situation. Of course, hearing the full details about this situation certainly doesn't make me feel good as the representative of this area when there are grievances, whether it's business owners or residents. They're calling me. Mr. Ed, he sent me emails, and that's certainly not something I want to hear, especially between business owners. So the question that I wanted to ask you and the other, the applicant, I wanted to know what attracted you all to this particular location. It was said that the council decided on the location or vicinity. I opposed it. Why? Because there's an elementary school. Henry County Board of Education is building the state-of-the-art STEM school not too far from this location. So it's not ideal, not for me. So I just wanted to ask, what attracted you to this particular location?
My name is Nairal Patel. My address is 559 Mariposa Lane, McDonough, Georgia. To answer your question, that was the only suitable location available on the Rock Quarry Road at the time I was looking at.
You were talking so fast, I missed most of that. Say it again.
So at the time of the application, that was the only location available on the Rock Quarry Road that suited the purpose for the liquor store.
So you were only specifically looking on Rock Quarry Road?
Rock Quarry Road and Jodica Road.
Okay, so, okay. The council has a desire to revitalize our downtown area. And for me, and I'm only speaking for me, a package store is not something that I actually had in mind when it came to revitalizing our downtown area. This is pretty close to our downtown area. We do have a package store right up the street. This area, we're trying to build a entertainment hub in that little area. So I wanted to really understand why you chose this location. You would be competing with another package store that's down the street, and there are just other areas that I think would be better suited. Perhaps, maybe not in Stockbridge, but in Stockbridge. But this particular area has a school right down the street. There's a section on Rock Quarry Road close to a park. Council members objected to a package store close to a park, but they seem to be okay with it close to the elementary school and state-of-the-art STEM school. So I'm conflicted. In addition to hearing about this matter, that really just kind of took me for a loop. I don't even know what to do at this point. So I certainly support deferring it, to give me a little bit more time to think about how to even move forward with this. So, but thank you. That was it.
Can I add something to it?
Go ahead, sir. You had something else you want to say, or?
So the city issued a legal notice in the paper. So in the paper, it said the liquor store has to be either on the Rock Quarry Road or on the Jodica Road. So there was the only two options.
I understand. I understand that, and I think the rest of the council understands it as well. But that is proper and that is accurate. Okay, so you made a suggestion. You'd like for us to defer this for other reasons. I'll state the real reason, sir, why you want us to defer this now.
So really, the reason for the deferral request, and we would request a 30-day deferral, would be to give us time to get to the bottom of the accusations and to come back with documentation to confirm actually the facts on the ground.
And you think 30 days is all you would ask for?
Yes.
So it'll be up to the council to accept that as well.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I asked it earlier, and they did not. No one knew the court date.
You might want to defer to the court date. Don't you want to do that to see what your?
I would need to look at Mr. Gardner's phone again. We were unaware of that citation before tonight, which is one of the reasons why we're asking for the deferral.
January 10th, Your Honor. Yeah.
January 10th, 20.
January 10th.
January 10th.
January 10th, yes, sir, Your Honor, Mr. Mayor.
January.
January 10th is
Okay,
the
2025.
court hearing for the
Yeah. So
So
permits.
60-day deferral.
you probably should be after the court date, sir.
Well, what's the court date again?
She said January 10th.
I think your meeting that I'm trying to get a deferral to would be after that date.
After January.
Yeah. It's a 2-month deferral.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
can you ask Mr. Turner, would they be able to come back as well?
Yeah, I would imagine. Sure, they heard you. I would assume you'll be back at that time too when they come back. I'm assuming that.
We won't be in opposition as long
Okay.
as everything's being done.
Okay.
Who sent?
13 January is our meeting in January. 13 January is the meeting
That's
date.
fine. So if the citation was given,
Okay.
who
One
got the
second.
The citations that the code enforcement issued them on the work and the tree cutting that they do.
Right.
That does not address the criminal damage to
Well,
property.
I think that is something you have to deal with on the civil side, sir. I think you got to deal with that on the civil side. It's my understanding.
We'll wait on the report from CID and then decide whether we're going to go criminal or civil.
Okay, got it, understand. Ms. Gant?
Well, I was gonna ask, so if the owner doesn't know anything about the citation, then who received it?
We don't know.
Mr. Gardner, do you know who received the citation?
I'd like to see some text messages
No,
from
no,
from somebody.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm assuming, sir, if this, okay, you saw them, so you saw them tonight, they're saying you saw them tonight for the very first time.
That is correct.
Right, all right.
Okay.
So, obviously, well, I'm imagining that the code enforcement is a subset of our police department. They had to send them out some directive, and I would imagine that you should have got them. Mr. Gardner obviously has a copy of it as well, but at this point. But well, anyway, the referral, you asked for 60 days. Is that what you're asking for, sir?
Yes, sir,
All right.
to get our arms around all
All
the
right, Council, are
information.
we willing to make a motion to approve this 60-day deferral before they
Yeah,
come back in?
so moved.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Mr. Boyer, second that. All in favor, please indicate. You have 60 days, sir.
Thank you very
No
much.
problem. You're welcome. That'll be another public hearing, I would imagine, at that time as well then. All right, on that note, we move on to